Hi everybody, this is Patrick Zielbauer. Thanks for taking a look at the YouTube channel today. This is going to be video number one in the Analytics, Alerts, and Automation Charting Series, done by myself, Patrick Zielbauer from Infinity Futures. So today we're going to show you how to create a visual alert when a series of conditions are true, and I'm going to try to show you in a way that is least obtrusive as possible. So in other words, we want to know when the conditions are true, but we don't want it to clog up or take up the entire screen. In other words, we want to seed the majority of the screen to the bars themselves and not clutter it up. So here's how we do that. We've got one study up here right now. It's called the Moving Averages Study. Moving Averages Study basically offers us the ability to have three moving averages in one study. 8, 34, 55, they're all EMAs. It's important in this context to make note of the ID number, which is ID1, and the subgraph number of each of the subgraphs that belong to the study, SG1, SG2, SG3. So the way we're going to refer to each of these pieces when we draw this little code up is ID1.SG1, ID1.SG2, and ID1.SG3. That's going to come into play here in just a second. So what I want to look for in this case is I want to be told by the chart when all the moving averages have a positive slope. So the way to do that is to add a study here. In this example, we're going to use the color background based on alert condition and add it. And in the settings section, we're going to control both the color. In this case, let's pick maybe this like light pale green here. And then in the alert tab, this is where the code actually goes. Now I use the word code very loosely. This is not coding like programming. It's very, very basic syntax with a little bit of greater than, a little bit of less than. It's not that hard once you get the hang of it. So let's give you an example. The way that we would look for a positive slope is to look for the value of the current moving average to be greater than the same moving average one bar in history. All right, there's a specific way that Sierra will let you refer to that. And here's what you would do. You would say ID1.SG1, which is the current value of the first subgraph, which is the ADMA, is greater than ID1.SG1 -1 in brackets. -1 in brackets means the same exact study, except one bar ago in history. Okay, then what you do is put a comma, and I'm actually just going to copy paste this here because all we're going to do is change one number. We're going to change the SG1 here in this version to SG2 because now we're on the second moving average, and I could actually just do it again for the third moving average. So each of these conditions is a separate condition, each one separated by a comma. Now we need all three of these conditions to be true. So the way that we're going to do that is by putting the word and in front of the whole thing and encapsulating all of the conditions in a parentheses. So when you have a situation where everything needs to be true in order for the condition to be true, just put all the conditions one by one next to each other with a comma in between them, and then encapsulate the whole thing in a parentheses with the word and in front. So let's push apply, see what happens. There we go. So now we're being told by the chart when all the moving averages are positive at the same time. Now, what about the converse of this? Well, let's go ahead and do that. We're just going to push OK. And you can actually just duplicate the study. So we've kind of done some of the heavy lifting already. I'm just going to duplicate the study and go to the settings section. We're going to change the color. Let's do like a nice light pale red. All right. And in the alert tab, we just need to flip these parentheses around. Or not the parentheses rather, but the greater than less than sign. So this is going to be when the moving average is less than the moving average one bar ago. And this is when the second moving average is less than the second moving average one bar ago. And same thing for the third, like this. We don't really have to change anything else. Just push apply. And now we're being told when all of the moving averages have a negative slope. Perfect. Okay. Now, one of the things I promised is that we would try to do this in kind of an unobtrusive way. This is a little bit too colorful. There's too much going on, and obviously it's just an example. But the idea is that you could actually hide the moving averages if you really want to. We'll do an example of this in a minute as well. But if you were to click hide on the moving averages study, you're really on your way to cleaning up the chart. All right, if all you care about is the slope of the moving averages as a prerequisite or a determiner for you doing something or not doing something else, then why do you even need the moving averages up, chewing away your brain power or causing you distraction or cluttering the screen? That's the argument. All right, preventing decision fatigue, I think, is very important, when you're doing this type of analysis intraday, especially with this kind of volatility. So I'll leave the moving averages visible for now. But one thing that's kind of neat is you can actually put this color background study into the region below the main price graph, kind of like where a MACD or a stochastic would go. So I'm just going to change the settings, and I'm going to go into the settings and inputs and change this to region 2 and push apply. And then I'm going to do the same thing for the other one. I'm going to change this to region 2 and push apply. And what we end up with is kind of like this scanner looking behavior where we can look down at the bottom of the screen and know very quickly what the trend of the moving averages is, all at the same time. Now, if you want to fill in the white space, there's kind of a neat trick for this. You can actually add another instance of the color background study. So I'll actually duplicate it one last time. And you'll notice that the color background studies themselves have their own ID number, which is 2 and 3. And so the condition for the fourth one is that neither of these things are true, right? So the condition for the sort of neutral zone is that neither ID number 2 or ID number 3 are true. So we can actually create a condition that says that and then use it to fill in these blanks. So in the settings section here for the color background, I can actually do another AND condition where I say something like id2.sg1 is less than 1, meaning Sierra uses a 0 or 1 binary format, and id3.sg1 is less than 1, meaning it's not true. It's less than 1, it's not true. So kind of a little geeky there, but if you change the color to gray, as an example, in this case, and just push apply, you can see how it fills in nicely. So now if you put your cursor in the y-axis here, where one indicator meets the main price graph or where one indicator meets another indicator, you can left click and grab that and just drag it down like this, and voila. Now we hide the moving averages again, like this, and we have a very clean chart with some very clear ideas. So the point of this exercise is that if there are a series of conditions that you're looking for and you want to be notified when those are true, but you don't necessarily care about the micro movements of all these individual parts, it's really the whole thing in aggregate that is meaningful to you, I highly recommend you give this sort of analysis or function a try. This is one of the best parts about Sierra, is that somebody who's not a developer or not a programmer like me and probably like you can do these sorts of things without having to pay somebody or buy an expensive add-on and such. So this is a great example. If you would like a copy of this file to use in accordance with this video, if you want to watch it again and pause it and go through the process yourself to replicate it, or if you just want to work backwards off of this software, this particular chart book, not a problem. My email address is just my initials, pz@infinityfutures.com. It's also on the front of the video at the beginning and also at the end here, you'll see in just a second. We'd certainly love to hear from you. Hopefully you find the video useful. I really would love to hear your feedback. And if you have ideas, questions, comments about other things like this you'd like to see, please do not hesitate to let me know. We are going to be putting out a lot of this sorts of content, and we hope you appreciate it and enjoy it. Thank you very much. Have a great day.